Hello, hello, hello. So, I'm going to discuss with you autobiographical memory. What is autobiographical memory? Which, other than being a hard word, what is it? It's a hard word to say for me. For some reason, I do not know. It's like a weird tongue twister. Hmm. Anyways, it is the memory of one's own experiences from life. So it's just what you remember about your own life. And it has aspects of episodic memory, which are, they play out like images in our mind, and it also contains semantic memory, which is just general knowledge. So if I am recalling my fifth birthday, um, I can see my family and I can see a pinata and maybe a toy I got for my birthday. Those would be the episodic memories. Um, and then the semantic part would be I know what a birthday is. It's celebrating um, how many years you've been alive. And what else would be semantic about remembering my fifth birthday? I know that generally people in America celebrate with a cake on their birthday. So that's some general knowledge. I also know the date of my birthday. Um, So let's jump over to talking about what it is we remember from our own lives and why we remember certain things more than others, why we don't remember things, why we do. I want you to think back at some of your most memorable life moments. Um, just the memories that you can see in your mind. They're so vivid and they feel maybe like it just happened yesterday. Um, for me, that would be my high school graduation. I can see myself walking through the stadium with my cap and gown and to that song, the song, I don't even know what they call it, the da 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 da. We walked out to that. Um, and another really memorable event would be the birth of my three children. I can remember my first daughter being born very vividly. I can remember my second daughter being born and my third daughter being born, although I would hope I can vividly remember that since that was just last month. Um, but those are two highly important memories that I can recall vividly. Honorable mentions to me graduating from City College and moving out of my parents' house and getting my first job. Those are pretty memorable memories. Um, so, what do all those memories have in common? And yours probably have this thing in common as well, but those memories probably took place um, sometime between your adolescence and young adulthood. Um, those are memories that happened during those times between the ages of 10 and 30 are actually probably your most easily recalled and most detailed memories. And there was a study done where subjects over the age of 40 were asked to recall memories, and the ones with the most details came from um, a time in the subject's life between the ages of 10 and 30. So when they were children and young adults. And that is called the reminiscence bump. So, um, uh, kind of like a spike in memories between those times, those years between 10 and 30. Hmm. So, Oh, that was that page. So yeah, it was called the reminiscence bump. And maybe you are wondering why that would occur. Why are the memories between the ages of 10 and 30 more memorable than other years? So, like my fifth birthday, I actually don't really remember much of it at all. I do not know if there was a piñata. I know I had a fifth birthday because I have a picture um, of me at my fifth birthday, and I was wearing like a pink plaid dress. It was quite 90s, I guess. And in the picture, I'm holding a Meg Barbie doll from the movie Hercules. So I know it existed, but I can't really quite remember anything from it. Um, so yeah, but the question is why? Why do we remember those memories from that specific time frame? So there's a few hypotheses for why those years hold so much value in our memories. It's the self-image hypothesis, the cognitive hypothesis, and the cultural life script hypothesis. So the first hypothesis is the self-image hypothesis. The idea that the reminiscence bump occurs because there is enhanced memory from this time period when your self-image was formed. So I am statements. So if you ask me like, who are you, Kayla? And I would say like, I am a mother, or well, I probably would just say I'm a mother. But if you ask maybe, Joe from Idaho, well, who are you? Like, how do you describe yourself? And maybe he says, I'm a doctor. Okay, so how does that explain the reminiscence bump? Um, well, during when did I become a mother? When was that part of my self-image formed? When did the doctor become a doctor? When was that part of his self-image formed? It was most likely between, in his mid-20s or late 20s. And for me, it was when I was 19. So that fits in the time frame of the reminiscence bump between 10 and 30. And so, yeah, the idea is just that you remember your memories from the time when your self-image was formed. I kind of like this hypothesis because it makes sense. Like when I'm 70, I probably will definitely still remember becoming a mother and all the memories that, took place during this time frame of my motherhood because, as I said, I am a mother. So I like that one. I actually like all these hypotheses because they really make sense when you think about them. Okay, the next one is cognitive hypotheses. This is the idea that rapid change followed by stability is thought to create better memory encoding. So how does this explain the reminiscence bump? Um, well, if you think back to your memories, and I'll recall my memories of graduation and um, graduating college, motherhood, getting a job, moving out of my parents' house, etc., etc. That was happening quickly, rapidly. Big change, rapid change. And now that I'm going to be 30 in February, I guess I'm going to be moving into a more stable life. And that rapid change from all my life events followed by stability, according to this hypothesis, will help me retain these memories more distinctly. So, yeah, and this one actually makes a lot of sense too because um, there's so many more events that happen, not just the ones I named. So even starting from age 10, you go into middle school, that's an important one. You go into high school, you get your first partner, your first boyfriend or girlfriend or whomever, your first person, you have your first kiss, you graduate high school, Then what? You go to college maybe, or you get your first job, you get married, you have kids, you move into a house. All these things are happening within like a 20-year lifespan, which is, in the grand scheme of things, a short amount of time. So it's rapid change followed by stability. Um, wait, I guess according to this one, my life is going to be boring starting in February since I will be 30. All my memorable times are behind me, so that's a little depressing, but it's fine. It's totally cool. Totally cool. Okay. Anyways, this next hypothesis is the cultural life script hypothesis. So this one kind of doesn't really focus on like your specific life events. It focuses on life events that have like cultural relevance to you. So for like me, it would be getting engaged, married, birthing a child. These are culturally relevant events. And these events fall into the time, usually I should say, fall into the time frame of the reminiscence bump. Yeah, so this one you have to think more of along the lines of not like events that are personal to you or to me, but events that have relevance and importance in your cultural life script. I'd say another one, I'd say marriage would definitely be one in my cultural life events, my cultural life script. Birthing a child, yeah. So this one I kind of, I mean, I guess it makes sense. But the cool thing is all these hypotheses, the three, they all just explain why we are more likely to remember um, the events that happened during this time frame of being between 10 and 30. So I was thinking about this and I was wondering, well, I feel like my birth would be really important to my grandma because, grandchild being born. But I bet if I asked her, and this is just based on this reminiscence bump theory, I bet if I asked her if she remembers my birth, she would say no. But based on the bump, it wouldn't be her fault. It wouldn't be because, I'm not her favorite grandchild, although I'm not, but that wouldn't be why. It would be because I was born after her little reminiscence bump. I was born when she was like 50. So that's way later, after this highly important time in her life. Okay, so let's talk about how emotion plays a role in the retrieval of autobiographical memory. Um, A study done by Simpson and Sheldon in 2019 found that emotional cues, they actually enhance the details of memory. The amygdala plays an important role as well in emotional memory because, um, well, they found that from an fMRI, it showed that there was higher activity in the amygdala when subjects were remembering emotional words that they had been given. Emotional words triggered more activity in the amygdala. And as we know, the amygdala is very involved with our emotions. Okay, but it can also taint it. So it can also taint your memory in a way. There's something called a subjective sense of remembering, which people tend to, especially with emotional memories, memories that trigger our emotions, that hold a lot of emotion. It makes us more confident about the accuracy of it and the details of it, but at the same time, it's also been found that they're not as accurate after all which we will see right now when we talk about flashbulb memory. So flashbulb memory is a term coined by Brown and Kulik, and they came up with this type of memory, I guess. This was after the assassination of President Kennedy. They said that it was like the nation stood still and took a picture of the event. And it should be mentioned that this type of autobiographical memory, it's not really about like it's not really like about how you felt during the event. It's more about like where you were or what you were doing or how you heard about this event. So about the assassination of President Kennedy. Some other examples are 9/11 and the Challenger. I wasn't alive was I alive for the Challenger explosion? I'm not sure. I'm 30. When did that happen? Hold on, let me Google it. But with 9/11, I can remember where I was when I heard about it. I was in my apartment with my family, and I came down the stairs and I saw it on the TV. My parents were watching the news. It would have been about 6 a.m., 6 after 6 when that happened. So the flashbulb memory is just it happens with a shocking event. Yeah, I wasn't alive with the Challenger. That was before. It was 1986. So flashbulb memory, it occurs when there's a shocking event, a highly emotional event. So those three very well-known events can trigger flashbulb memory. But it was later kind of research proven that this memory isn't actually like a picture. Like we don't actually remember where we were, what we were doing, and how we learned about the event as accurately as it would seem. They asked people right after the event, so right after 9/11, how they heard about it, and then they followed up with them later on, weeks later, some up to, I think it was 32 weeks later, and they asked them again how they heard about the event, and the stories were different. So it's not as accurate as Brown and Kulik originally thought, and that goes back to the subjective sense of remembering, where we're so confident about what we remember, but oftentimes it is not accurate. Okay, and then there's something called hyperthymesia. There isn't a whole lot of research about this because it's kind of hard to formally test whether or not someone has hyperthymesia, but it's basically the ability to remember autobiographical memories with incredible accuracy and pretty much like all the events of our lives, which to me sounds horrible because there are definitely some events in my life I would like to forget. Some very cringe-worthy moments in my life that I would absolutely hate to remember forever. I'm actually trying to forget them. So anyways, and as we talked about earlier, the amygdala plays a role in retrieval of events. Ali et al. Found that out. Yeah, so they can't really prove, I mean, like, how do you prove that your own life events that you're remembering are real? But, I mean, it's probably true. There's people who are incredible and they are hyper aware of their own lives. Anyway, okay. So let's do a quick recap about what autobiographical memory is. It contains pieces of episodic and semantic memory. Episodic is images in our head. Semantic is just general knowledge. Our most detailed memories come from the reminiscence bump, which is Now, this only goes, and I think I mentioned this, but this only applies after the age of 40. Like, um, people 40 and up will have the reminiscence bump. Because I mean, yeah, if you ask me right now, what my most memories are, it's kind of one-sided because I'm not even 30 yet. So pretty much all my memories are coming from that time frame, anyways. So it applies to people ages 40 and up. Okay. And there were three hypotheses to explain the reminiscence bump. That's the self-image hypothesis, which is um, that our like who we are, how we describe ourselves, our own self-image formed during this specific time, and that specific time would be ages 10 through 30, adolescence through young adulthood. The other hypothesis is the cognitive hypothesis, and that's the idea that the rapid change that occurs between the ages of 10 and 30, um, and then it's followed by stability that helps us encode our memory. It enhances the memory encoding. And then the third hypothesis is the cultural life script hypothesis, which focuses on our most remembered events in our life happening. They're the events that fit into our cultural life script, and they have like cultural life relevance. And then emotion plays a role in our memory. It can help our memory, help us recall memory, but it also can kind of sway the accuracy of our memory, I guess, so to speak. So yeah, and then here are my references. Most of the facts that were in here were from the text, Goldstein, 2015. Okay, bye.